أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Tonight we're going to go over our seventh lesson in our series on learning to read the Holy Quran. So far we have covered the alphabet in 6 lessons. We learned the letters of the alphabet, their names, their sounds. We learned the uppercase letters and the lowercase letters, as well as the lowercase letters that have multiple forms. And we practiced writing the letters both in their uppercase forms and in their lowercase forms. And today, inshallah, we are going to begin learning how to connect letters. We learned how to make them lowercase, but now how do we connect them into words? So we're going to do this by looking at some examples of 2-letter and 3-letter and some 4-letter words, and learning how they go from the uppercase to the lowercase forms, and then how we connect those lowercase forms. So let us begin with our first examples. And of course, first it's important to remember, as we mentioned before, that we read Arabic, we read the Quran from the right side of the page to the left side of the page. So that is how we're going to start writing. We write from the left, from the right towards the left. So here we have our first word. We have this letter meme and we have a letter noon. So what do we do first? First, we change the letters that need to become lowercase into lowercase forms. So we take the meme here, we drop this tail portion, as we explained before, that when we change a letter from its uppercase to its lowercase form, we drop the tail portion and we keep the top portion. So we're going to keep the top, as we see here. This is the top portion of the meme. We keep this. And we also see that the noon did not change. Why didn't the noon change? The noon did not change because the letter that is at the end of a word stays in its uppercase form, except for the ayn and the ghain, which change a little bit, and the ha, which also has a specific form at the end of the word. Other than those, all other letters will keep their uppercase form when they are the last letter of a word. So that is why the noon is the last letter of this word, so it will stay the same. So now we have the lowercase meme and the uppercase noon, and now what do? We join them together. So here we have on the top the lowercase meme and the uppercase noon, and we just put them together. The noon joins the meme right at the end of the extension of the meme. So now we're going to trace this just to see how it happened. So we have this lowercase meme, and then we just join this noon with it. Very simple. Now let's write it ourselves. So what are we going to do first with this capital meme, this uppercase meme? We have to drop the tail portion and just keep the top. So we're going to keep the top portion of the meme, and then we're going to write the noon beginning right at the extension of the meme. Just like this, and we draw the dot of the noon, and we have our first word. Now we're going to go to our second example. Here we have a letter qaf and a letter dal. So the qaf is going to connect to this dal. So what happens to the qaf? We're going to drop the tail portion and we're going to keep the top. So when we keep the top, here we have this lowercase qaf, and of course the dal is one of those letters that does not change. So we have the lowercase qaf and the dal, and then we put them together. You see, we still have the same lowercase qaf that's up here. Didn't change, we just connected it to this dal. Now we're going to write it ourselves. So we have a capital qaf, a low uppercase qaf. What do we have to do? We have to drop the tail portion. So we're left with the top portion, and now we have to connect the dal to it by writing the dal next to it. On to our next example. Here we have the letter fa and the letter ya. And just as we did before with the other letters, since the fa will connect to a letter on its left, it will become in its lowercase form, as we see down here. And since the ya is the last letter of the word, it will not change. So we have the lowercase fa and the ya, and all we do is join them together as we have down here. You see, this is the lowercase fa in blue, which we have here like this with its dot, and then we have the ya. All we do is we attach it. So now we're going to write it from scratch ourselves. We have the uppercase fa, so we have to write its lowercase, which is the top without the tail, and of course the fa has just one dot, and then we just connect from right here where the fa ends, we write the ya with its two dots. Very simple. On to our next example. Our next word is a qaf and a lam. And just as we did before with the qaf and the other word, we drop the tail of the qaf and we keep just this top portion. And the lam, since it's the last letter of the word, will stay the same. So we have this lowercase qaf right here, and we take this lam and attach it to the end of this qaf. So now we're going to show how it's written. So we write the lowercase of the qaf by keeping only the top portion and dropping the tail. The qaf has its two dots. And right here where the qaf ended, we're going to write this lam. So we start the lam from up here and just connect it with the qaf. And there's your word. There's your two letters connected. Very simply. And this is the same rule that we're going to follow for words, whether they have 2-letter, 3-letter, 4-letter, it doesn't matter how many letters they have, it's all going to be the same. So now we have a 3-letter word. We have the letter ba, the sin, and the mim. So we drop the tail portion of the ba. We keep just the small beginning portion with the one dot. We drop the tail of the sin, so we have its two curves and the one extension. And this time the mim, since it's the last letter of the word, we're not going to drop its tail. It's going to stay in its full uppercase form. So here we have the lowercase ba, lowercase sin, and the full mim, uppercase mim. And here we bring the ba, we connect the sin to it, and then we connect the mim to the sin for this word. Now we're going to show how we write this. Again, we write the lowercase of the ba by keeping just the top portion and not the tail, dropping the tail. The ba has its one dot. Now we're going to write the sin. Remember, the sin has one curve, two curve, and then an extension. And now we're going to write the mim right here, connected to the extension of the sin. And there's our completed word. On to the next one. Here we have another 3-letter word. We have a sad, a mim, and a dal. So we're going to drop this tail portion of the sad to keep just the top. We're going to drop the tail of the mim to keep just the top of the mim, and the dal stays the same. So we have lowercase sad, lowercase mim, and dal, and we join them together. The mim joins with the sad, and the dal joins with the mim, and now it's our turn to write it. So here we go. We're going to keep the top of the sad, just like this. And instead of the tail of the sad, we're going to put just this little extension like that. We're going to drop the tail of the mim, and we're going to have just the top of the mim. And now we're going to write the dal right here at the extension of the mim. And there is your completed joined word. On to our next one. Here now we have a 4-letter word. But it's the same thing. No matter how many letters, it's always the same. We have a nun, ayn, ba, and dal. So what do? We drop the tail portion of the nun to keep just the small curved portion with the one dot. Now the ayn, remember the ayn has 3 forms. It has one form at the beginning of a word, one form at the middle of the word. If you remember, this is the ayn form at the beginning of the word. This is the ayn form in the middle of a word, and then this is the ayn form at the end of a word. So since this ayn is between a nun and a ba, it's between 2 letters, it's in the middle of the word, we're going to use the middle form, which is this one right here. So we have the lowercase nun, the middle form of the ayn. We have the lowercase ba by dropping the tail, keeping just the short portion with a one dot underneath. And we have our dal, which stays the same. So now we have, in our next chart, which will be coming up, lowercase nun, ayn in its middle form, lowercase ba, and dal. So we connect the ayn in its middle form to the nun, the ba joins with the ayn, and the dal joins with the ba. So now we're going to write it ourselves. We're going to write the lowercase of this nun by keeping just the short portion without the tail, and of course the nun has one dot on top. And we have to use the middle form of the ayn. So we connect it right at the end of the extension of the noon, just like that. And now we have our ba connecting to the ain, and of course ba has one dot underneath, and then we write the dal. Very, very easy to write these words. And I think we have just one more word, one more four-letter word. This is also very easy, same thing. It's a ya, then a waw, then lam, then dal. And there's something different about this, which you'll see in a second. So we have the ya, and if you remember, the ya is written like the lowercase ba, but it has two dots underneath, just like this. Then the waw, if you remember, does not have a lowercase form. So it stays just as it is. Then we have the lowercase of the lam by dropping the tail of the lam and just keeping the tall portion with a small extension. And then we have the dal, which does not change. So we have lowercase ya, waw, lowercase lam, and dal. So we connect the waw to the ya. But if you remember, the waw is one of those letters that connects to a letter on its right, but it does not connect on its left. So we have to leave the space here. There's a space between the waw and the lam because the waw does not connect to a letter on its left. So we have lowercase ya connecting to the waw, a space, then the lowercase lam connecting to the dal. So now it's our turn to write this. So we write the lowercase of the ya, which if you remember is just like the ba, but it has two dots underneath. Then we connect the waw to the ya, and we have to leave a space here. So when we write the lam, we don't connect it to the waw, but we'll just write the lowercase of the lam, which is a straight line down with a small extension like that. And now we're going to connect our dal to the lam. So as you see, it was very easy to write 2-letter, 3-letter, and 4-letter words, connecting the letters using the lowercase forms and following the rules of which ones connect to other letters on the right and which ones do not connect the letters on the left. So this is the end of our session for tonight. Tomorrow night, inshallah, we're going to be connecting even bigger words.